Ooh, do we have some stuff to talk about today. Before we get into today's video though, I did want to let you guys know that this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Please remember to be kind to everybody everywhere, in your everyday life, in your home, in the grocery store, and especially in the comment section down below. Please do not show hate to anybody, anywhere. Good morning, my lovelies, my beauties, my friends. My name is Christina and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really hope that you will subscribe, stick around, take a chance in hearing some things that I have to say. And if you are a returning subscriber, y'all already know, y'all are my babies. So good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing today? I hope you all are having an amazing day. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. I hope everybody is doing good. You guys, hold on to your shimmies. Oh my goodness, I'm excited about this video right here. I went down the rabbit hole. Have you ever seen a subject, which I do this literally all the time, some of y'all probably do too, that intrigues your interest, and then you go from there to the next hole, to the next hole, to the next hole, and before you know it, you're so deep in, you're like, that's where I'm at. I literally had to stop myself so I could film this video for you guys because I'm like days in. So if y'all want a part two, and just hold on, y'all let me know down below. Make sure you let me know. So we're gonna go on a little ride here and we're gonna go through some different events. We're gonna start off in today's video talking about the alien sightings that's been going on in Peru recently. Now I'm gonna say recently. Again, all of this video is alleged. I wasn't there. I didn't see any of this. And I'm just conveying to you what is out there. Okay, we're going to talk more at the end, maybe what I think happened. I'm going to show you guys some other stuff. Make sure you guys stay to the end. But we're going to start off with the alien sightings in Peru that has been going on recently. Now, recently, the Peruvian people are saying that they have been being under full-blown attack by aliens for well over a month now. Now, before we go into all of the things about Peru, the history of Peru and the sightings there, I want to bring you guys back to Vegas. Do y'all remember the videos that I did about the alleged alien sightings in Vegas? Just to refresh y'all's memory, there was a teenager who was working on a truck in his backyard with, I believe it was either his brother or his cousin, and this is when a green ball was seen falling out of the sky, and it was actually caught on the body cam footage of a police officer that was talking to these people outside on another block. So everybody's seen the actual green ball falling out of the sky that nobody really could explain. I mean, there's some theories out there, but nevertheless, and that's when the teenager ended up calling 911. It's like, hey, I got aliens in my backyard, and I am not joking.
There's like an 8-foot person beside it, and another one's inside, and it has big eyes and it's looking at us, and it's still there.
Okay, where is this on your property?
In my backyard. I swear to God, this is not a joke. This is actually we're terrified of it.
So there's two people or two subjects that are in your backyard?
Correct, and they're very large. They're like 8 foot, 9 feet, 10 foot. I don't know. They look like aliens to us. Big eyes. They have big eyes.
Okay.
Like I can't explain it. And big mouth. They're shiny eyes, and they're not human. They're 100% they're not human.
His dad comes out, the whole family comes out, and they are terrified. Like, they go into the backyard, they see it, they're trying to film, they have things to protect themselves, and then they move back out of the backyard. Just so I don't spend too much time on that, if you guys didn't watch those videos, go and watch them. It's very interesting because the local police department and Homeland Security ended up coming out to their house and setting up a 360 camera, and then allegedly denied to the public and to the media that they even did anything until another media source went out there and took videos of the camera that they had set up. And then Homeland Security came and took the cameras down, which is very strange. I ain't never heard of Homeland Security coming and setting up a 360 camera on somebody's house when they called 911 and said they had aliens in their backyard. Very weird, but nevertheless. So this situation in Peru, the way that they are describing these extraterrestrial beings that they claim that they're seeing is very similar to what the teenager in Vegas described, which I thought was interesting. And if you guys don't know, in this part of Peru, like alien sightings and stuff like that is actually pretty common. And UFO, or what is it, UAP they're calling it now, UPA, whatever, they change it all the time. Every word is being changed. Y'all know what I'm talking about. UFOs, unidentified flying objects, have been very active over this part of Peru for as long as people can remember. I'm talking about very active.
En el cerro. Miren, ahí está, oye.
¿Viste? Está grabado, está grabado.
Estamos
Se notó el borde del cerro. Ahí está.
Está en el aire. Miren, mira eso. No está en el cerro.
Anthony,
está en el aire.
Esa luz.
So terrified villagers in this rural part of Peru claimed that they were under attack by over 7-foot tall, what they call face peelers, or they call them Los Pelacaras. These villagers and people that are from this rural part of Peru, they have this legend about the face peelers or the Los Pelacaras for centuries. Like, this is a story that they pass down to their children. This isn't like the teenager in Vegas who seen something in his backyard. To these locals, they've been hearing about these things or experiencing these things pretty much their whole lives. However, recently things have like really amped up there, and the Peruvian news is not playing. See, over here in America, when they're talking about these sightings, they've got all these other reasons or things that they're saying is going on over there, and we're going to talk about those too. But the Peruvian news, they're not playing around. They're speaking about this like this is actual ETs. They are coming after the locals. They are face peelers. They steal people, abduct them. They pull the fat out of their faces. It is rumored by these villagers that their animals or farm animals, like their cows, will be found with their faces completely peeled off all the way to the bone, as well as people who are abducted. So the Peruvian news is reporting this very different than the American news. Some of these locals have described these beings as silver beings with ginormous heads. Some even call them Green Goblins, like from Spider-Man. On July 29th, allegedly, a 15-year-old girl was dragged over 50 meters by one of these beings. And this is when the locals say that she was abducted, she was given some sort of anesthetic, and her neck was cut, and she managed to escape somehow. And when she made it back to the village, very distressed, injured, the locals went wild.
Que de ahí se eleva, eso anda a 1 metro, así 1 metro de altura anda, y tiene unas luces rojas en la parte del talón. Su cabeza es largo, la máscara que tiene es largo, y el ojo, el divisor de ojo.
Because at this point, they're figuring that these beings are not just looking around, they're not just there getting whatever resources they need to get, but now they're really coming into the villagers and taking their little ones. According to the local media there, members of the community started participating in night patrols to protect the women and children and the more vulnerable people. Locals are describing these face peelers as having large heads with yellowish eyes and said the figures are immune to their typical hunting weapons. The locals are saying that these beings have attacked their community every single night since July 11th. Okay, so this isn't just one incident these locals are claiming. And again, the Peruvian news there, they're sounding the alarm. Okay, they're over there going like, no, something for real is happening. They're moving in on our people. Every night there's a new attack, and they were terrified. A Peruvian news media outlet quoted the community leader who claimed that he came face to face with one of these aliens.
Entonces que él viste el Pelacaras.
Sale en foco, yo le apunté así, le veo una persona brilla, brilla, de aquí, por acá, lo que alumbra no brilla, es alumbra. Y ya, yo así, ya casi me pasó el miedo,
Aquí están todos los padres de familia con sus escopetas, señores de la UGEL, a ver qué decisiones toman frente a esta situación que estamos pasando aquí en la comunidad de Buenavista, profesores de Jorge Soplín.
Okay, again, this isn't just some, oh my gosh, I've seen something far away. This is a whole village saying this. The community leader allegedly said, "We have met almost face to face. His face is hardly visible, and I have seen his whole body floating at a height of 1 meter. The beings appear to be armored. I shot one of them twice and he wasn't injured. He rose and he disappeared. Their shoes are round shaped, which they use to float, and their heads are long. They wear a mask and their eyes are yellowish. They are experts at escaping. We are very frightened about what's happening here in our community. We need support for our community. The children do not sleep and the mothers stay up all night." And to people, it sounded like the community leader was basically saying that whatever being he was seeing was somewhat levitating off of the ground. This is when the villagers and the people, as well as the community leader, started to beg for help, for assistance, asking the Navy to come in, the American military to come in, like anybody come in and help us. They felt helpless. Although the community leader was basically begging for military presence, in order for them to get there to this village, it is a 10-hour river trip, okay? A 10-hour river trip. So this isn't just like some sort of area where people can decide that they want to play a prank and they can go, you know, maybe hop a couple fences and peekaboo through some bushes. Now, the villagers are calling these beings face peelers because they have a folklore, or again, a legend, that these face peelers come in and they harvest organs from their people and they remove parts of their faces for other reasons, which I think is very strange when you have like no matter what these beings are, and again, we're going to talk about that in a minute. I think that's very strange when you have a village that is so set back from like a highly populated area, and for, you know, decades or centuries, they have these rumors or these stories within the community that something comes in and grabs them and harvests their organs and peels their face and all of this stuff. So these people, again, were terrified, and the mothers, you know, feeling like they couldn't protect their children, or staying up all night and the children aren't sleeping, and the men are walking around with the only hunting weapons they had, trying to protect their village. However, now local authorities are offering a different explanation for what is going on there. They say that illegal gold miners are the ones to blame. These supposed criminals that the local authorities are blaming are part of cartels that they say are using sophisticated state-of-the-art jetpacks to get deep into the jungle to mine for gold. While doing that, they said that they are taking pleasure in scaring the local villagers by pretending to be aliens to keep them in their homes and away from the mines. There's even this photo right here that allegedly a local girl, listen, I don't know, it's just a girl holding a phone that somebody probably gave her to hold, and this is a picture of this jetpack. Now, before we go into that explanation or what's going around completely here in the media, because if you look this up now, the media says gold miners on jetpacks. It's everywhere. Before we go into that, let's just talk about the gold or the history of gold that is there in Peru. Peru is currently the largest gold producer in Latin America. However, the devastation and pollution caused by these gold cartel operations have become so far spread that their impact on the Peruvian jungle can be seen from space. On Christmas Eve of 2020, one astronaut said that they were able to photograph eastern Peru's gold prospecting pits while orbiting in the International Space Station. NASA explained that these gold pits are made up of hundreds of tightly packed water-filled basins carved out of deforested and devegetated flats of mud. Now, I don't know about y'all, but that's a really cool / weird picture that somebody took from space. Like what, you can look down from space and see gold everywhere. Like, hello, can we go over there and like all just like take a bucket? I mean, but it's very interesting, and it's an interesting theory. Okay, these are gold miners on jetpacks. However, when you start looking into these jetpacks, do you guys know how expensive these jetpacks are? Oh my gosh, we're about to go into it now. And again, for the local authorities and for the military to get to this part of this village is a 10-hour ride on the river. Okay, so these jetpacks to get back here, I mean, were they all flying over? Are they flying from the other? I'm trying to figure out what is a bunch of jetpacks flying across the sky, and they're like, you know, scaring the people and looking like goblins and all of this stuff. Okay, but you know how much these jetpacks cost? A couple years ago, back in 2021, they were estimated to be like $350,000 up to $500,000. And that's just what we can find by Google, okay? And I would think you would have to have somewhat of a decent jetpack if you're gonna fly 10 hours over a river or go through these jungles and stuff like that. And I mean, I don't know about cartel members in big groups using a bunch of jetpacks, but that's their story, and I guess they're sticking to it. So when I started researching more about these jetpacks, this is when I realized that here in America, a few years ago, starting back in like 2020, pilots at airports started claiming that they were seeing people flying on jetpacks. We're talking about 10,000 feet in the air. Can you imagine being a Delta, pilot, and you're flying and there a man goes by on a jetpack? Now, I don't know. There's pictures, and I'm going to show you a picture right here that is allegedly what they're saying is a man on a jetpack. This just sounds ridiculous to me, by the way, guys. I mean, who has a jetpack? Were they flying out of their backyard? They're going up 10, 15,000 feet in the air, which some of these jetpacks claim to be able to fly is 15,000 feet plus, and this is not regulated. So people's just up there flying around, waving at the Delta planes. I mean, what if they get sucked up into one of the engines and the plane goes down? It seems like it should be regulated, or it could be something else, and they're saying it's jetpacks, because why wouldn't it be regulated? I mean, I don't know about y'all, but we got a drone, and there's so many places that we can't even fly it because it's, within a certain amount of miles to an airport or a military base. But according to these news articles, people are flying in their jetpacks, in California, 10,000 feet in the air, and the pilots are taking pictures of them. I don't know. It just seems really, really, really weird. It makes me go, Which brings me to my next part. Just recently, Peruvian Navy fighters found some illegal miners mining for gold and were able to chase them off and destroy their oil drums, a gold pit water suction system, and other equipment used by these criminal gold miners. However, guess what they didn't find? Jetpacks. No jetpacks were reported to be found. Which, this whole jetpack thing led me to continue to look into what the Peruvian people were saying was going on. So then I started going on to Peruvian media outlets and translating the news sources and trying to see what they were saying over there. And legend has it, there's some people that have believed that the aliens have been living underground there for a very long time. Now, when I saw that, it reminded me of the fact that I have seen very prominent people here in America say that there was good evidence that if there were aliens, that they were actually under the ground, in the ocean, and not out of the sky. That led me to think about all of the movies that we watch and how the movies show these aliens coming from outer space, and it made me wonder that if there was something going on and the government was hiding stuff, what a good way to distract us by having us look up instead of looking down. Whether these are gold miners on jetpacks in America and over there, whatever, whether these are people playing a hoax, which I think would be very hard to do on an entire village of people that live there. They know their land. They're not sitting around watching their 100-inch screen TVs or going down to the AMC, you know, and watching movies in the recliners down there. They know their land. That's what they do. Whether these are fallen angels, whether these are demons, demonic forces, or what, the Peruvian people themselves believe that they are under attack by something that is not human. And they said that it glowed green, and this is part of a video. I mean, of course, it was at night, and it's always blurry, but I did want to add this photo here that something is definitely in the woods here glowing green. And to make this even more interesting, the prosecutor there in Peru is the one that started releasing the information to the media, saying that the military came in and they checked everything, they didn't find anything, and that it was illegal gold miners on jetpacks. And that spread like wildfire over here in the States. However, the villagers that live in Peru have come out again and said that the prosecutor never even came down there. They don't know where they're getting this jetpack thing from, but basically it ain't that. And that the police only came in to take testimonies from the people in the village.
Buenas tardes, primeramente agradecerle, ¿no?, a cada uno de ustedes, solamente para denegar lo que viene mencionando el fiscal en las redes sociales, de que la comunidad nativa de San Antonio, ese fiscal ha venido acá a la comunidad y nosotros como comunidad desmentimos, ¿no? Porque si bien es cierto, ese fiscal no ha llegado a la comunidad, lo que ha llegado sí es la policía, ¿no? Solamente viene a levantar acta de que cómo ha pasado ese suceso durante esa tarde, lo que ha pasado con la señorita, pero más otra, digamos, fiscal no han venido acá, ningún fiscal a la comunidad, pero aún con todo pedimos, ¿no?, como autoridad a la fiscalía que venga a intervenir en nuestra situación que estamos pasando. Y ver, pues, ¿no?, para que constaten en cómo estamos pasando nosotros acá en la comunidad, ¿no? Y también que traigan sus implementos para poder sobrevolar en nuestra comunidad en la noche, para que ellos mismos constaten, porque algunos comuneros ya están pidiendo refuerzos a unas ONG acá, pero solamente podemos captar en el día, ¿no? Si bien es cierto, en el día no hay atropello en la comunidad, pero lo que se atropellan, señores, son en la noche. Y para eso le hago un pedido, ¿no?, ¿verdad?, que vengan a visitar nuestra comunidad, que traigan periodistas, algo para que puedan llevar mejor.
So if you just saw what the villagers are saying, they're saying that they're not having incidences during the day, it's happening at night, and that the police just came in and took their witness testimonies, wrote down what they said and left, didn't even stay at night, and they're basically begging them. They're like, please come here and intervene, help us. Do you see what's happening? And they didn't even stay at night. Like, how weird is that? Like, what is really going on over there? It kind of reminds me of the situation again that we talked about in the beginning of this video that happened in Vegas, where we saw on the body cam footage from the police officer that was speaking to those people, the green thing falling from the sky over there in Vegas, and then the 911 phone call from the teenagers saying that there was large 10-foot beings with big eyes in their backyard, and that there was a bright light that glowed, and that he was serious, that there was aliens in his backyard. The cops came out, took a statement, and then the next day, Homeland Security came and put a camera on top of their house that filmed 360, but yet pretended, allegedly, this is all alleged, I wasn't there, but yet pretended like they didn't do that. I don't know, y'all. It's a lot of weird stuff going on. Let me tell you about a man named Phil Schneider. In 1979, Phil Schneider, who was an engineer and a geologist, had what he said was a physical encounter with an alien human type that led him to losing his fingers and a leg and being seriously injured. Now, I can do a video going deeper into Phil Schneider's experience and the things that he said as he was working for the government for 17 years, and we can dissect it if you believe it, if you don't, but I'm gonna just try to keep it light in this video. So back in 1979, he said that he was contracted by the government in order to work in these like underground facilities, and that he was working in one in New Mexico when this incident happened, and it changed his life forever. Phil said that he and his group was in one of these underground bases when they came across a cavern that they weren't familiar with. This is when him and his crew went into the cavern, and he said that it did not take him long at all to realize that he was in like an alien base. He said that he and his crew were immediately confronted by alien beings, which they called the Greys. And he said that they were like 7 foot tall and slender. And listen to what he said happened.
All I remember is that he just kind of waved his hand in front of his chest, and the next thing I know, this blue beam hit me and just literally opened me up like a fish. And burnt my fingers right off of me. And it was some form of electrical force, because the kind of like being hit by a lightning bolt burned all my toenails off of me. Completely crispy crittered my left foot. Burnt the shoe right off of me. All I remember was the smoking remains, and I'm still conscious, but in and out of, I didn't remember much. And there was a Green Beret that was right behind me that risked his life. In fact, he died. But he risked his life. He shoved me back in the basket and hit the button and took me up. And I wouldn't be alive talking to you today if it wasn't for him.
Now that's very bizarre. I mean, the man is missing his fingers, he's missing his leg, and he said that he was filleted open like a fish. But Phil is just one of many people who claim to know that there are beings living under the ground and that the government is fully aware of it. And just to wrap this up with one more little strange tidbit. So I decided to go look in old newspapers and try to find UFO sighting articles to see when they started being printed in the newspaper heavy. And I found so many sightings or newspaper articles being ran on the date of April 16th, 1967. And as you guys can see, they're all over the country in many different states. And I thought, wow, this is weird. All the way back into 1967, I wonder what was going on during that time. And look what I found. On April 15th, 1967, about 125,000 people marched to protest or oppose the U.S.'s involvement in the Vietnam War. The people did not think that the U.S. should be getting involved in this situation. Kind of like things that are going on right now, but I mean, maybe it's just a coinky-dink. But it's really funny that the day after this march, which mind you, on April 4th of 1967, Martin Luther King gave a speech opposing the U.S.'s involvement in the Vietnam War as well. And then just the day after this huge march, all of these newspapers across the U.S. started randomly reporting on UFO sightings. And not only did they report on these UFO sightings, they also were sharing these photos in the newspaper of the UFOs looking like this. Then you flash forward to 2023 with all of this UFO stuff coming out, and now they're posting pictures of UFOs looking like this. But not only that, we're taking it a step further in the 20th century and also having hearings about testimonies of seeing these UFOs. Well, that led me to want to look back to the very first UFO sighting in the U.S. and what I could find, and this is just from Google, and y'all are welcome to leave other things that you may have found or down in the comments section. But I found the first newspaper reporting on a UFO sighting back in 1947, you guys, 1947. You know what else happened in 1947? The CIA was officially established, and not long after that, the first UFO sighting was reported in the newspaper. Now, man, that's just all really weird timing for everything. And I don't know, maybe my Google button is broken, but it just, it's just a lot of things to think about. I don't know. Seems weird. Seems like there's always something more going on than what we're being told. So what do I think? I don't really know what to think. I know that I don't trust what we're being told. So I question everything. I'm not there to see these beings. I don't know if they're fallen angels. I don't know if they're demons. I believe in all of that, okay? I also believe that the things that the Peruvian people are seeing could be highly sophisticated equipment that we don't even know about. I mean, the jetpack started, that we know of, back in 1961, you guys. Over 60 years ago, they were using jetpacks. we can only imagine the type of equipment that possibly militaries have across the world that we are not even aware of. I mean, let's be real here. Planes have been created to fly in the air that have like multiple stories in them, and bathrooms and bars inside of them, and beds and all kinds of cool stuff. And that flies thousands of feet in the air for thousands of miles. I mean, there is no telling what kind of sophisticated equipment that our military or people have that we don't know. I believe that's possible as well. So I don't know what they are. All I know is that the explanations that we are given always just seems a little off to me. What do y'all think? Y'all let me know what y'all think down below. If you guys want me to go more in depth in any of this stuff, I'm so intrigued by every bit of this. Again, no matter what is right, make sure you got your faith right. Make sure you are secure in your heart, in your beliefs. And I mean, I recommend trying Jesus. And y'all let me know what y'all think, though. I love you guys. Thank y'all for being here, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Love you guys. Bye.